Hey, I want to welcome our listeners and viewers to a very special podcast. This podcast came from somebody very special because they thought our community wanted to meet her. So I'm not going to say any more. I'm going to let her introduce herself to you, and then we'll just kind of talk and we'll just give you an idea of how she serves our wonderful community of seniors. So please, would you please introduce yourself and give our community who you serve? So name, company, and who you serve.
Awesome. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Myrna Cesar, owner of Acti-Kare of Marietta, and we service Marietta, Woodstock, Alpharetta, Roswell, and Ackworth now. Um, Basically, Acti-Kare, we've been serving the elder population since 2007. We are part of a franchise,
Yeah.
and the mission and vision of our company is to allow elders and disabled to stay at home and keep their independence. So we provide in-home care solution for seniors, including companionship, errand services, meal preparation, personal care, transportation services if you have a doctor's appointment. So, and these services really help, that we provide really help aging or disabled population to stay living independently at home. So that is who we are, and that is what we do.
That's awesome because, I'm knocking on that door and more and more and more. And I see it in our community at Overture because that's where we're taking our podcast from. And I've noticed since I moved in here, I moved in because of a couple of reasons, but it's kind of like I have a front seat to senior living since I moved in. And your services are absolutely needed. So I want to give our viewers a chance to get to know you and just understand the how you serve the community. So I have a couple questions. So when it comes to why did you decide to get into this business? I mean, what was the factor that you? Yeah.
That is an awesome question. So I've worked in corporate America for the longest time, in the technology world and also healthcare. So when I was looking to transition, and I've been taking care, actually, I take care of my mom, my godmother, my dad prior to him passing, and a lot of member of our family. And I noticed that there was a need to really educate one and also allow seniors to be respected through any type of agency. And if you explain to them certain things, the process of servicing them is much easier because they become part of their own, part of the service. So it's not you dictating to them. So when I decided to transition out of corporate, and I found this wonderful franchise. And I believe in the mission and the vision of the company. So I decided to buy in. And it was a good decision for me. So whether a seniors use our services, but I always have educate them on how to select a good agency, and what to look for. And I'll give that to them, and they can either use our services or go with someone else, but at least they have that information. And so the reason I decided to do it is to educate and really to provide good holistic service.
That's real important. And I think back, do you mind me asking, and sorry to hear about your dad.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have just a question for that because, I find that the ones that get in this industry, it usually, a lot of times, not all, it comes from family. caring
Mm-hmm.
for your family. So do you mind me asking, like, were you caring specifically for your dad? And then you got to just share with our viewers, what that's like, because I know, because I'm in the middle of the community.
Mm-hmm.
What,
Mm-hmm.
that and your godmother and your other family members,
Mm-hmm.
how did that change you or give you a perspective of the seniors?
Well, that's what gave me a different, it shift my my opinion and my thinking when I started caring for my dad and my godmother. My godmother is currently has dementia, and she doesn't remember a lot. My dad, before his passing, he was diabetic, and I took him from New York and brought him back to the to Georgia,
Mhm.
reluctantly, set a space for him, and separately from us, because as we age, we want our own space, we want our own friends,
Totally.
and be deliberate about it, and provide his meals. And he has his friends, so he was living with us, but he also had his own space. And in regards to my godmother, which she is in Florida, and with dementia. So every twice a month, I have a caregiver for her now, but twice a month I go down. We create these picture board to help her. Remember certain things, and it triggers her memory here and there. Yeah. Hmm.
I've never heard that, but I have a person at my church, and
Hmm.
has her husband's going through that transition,
Hmm.
and it's very difficult because known him for 4 months.
Hmm.
I know in 4 months the difference that I've seen. So what when you say picture board, what is it allowing your godmother to remember specific events? Or are you just doing it just general pictures, or what, how are you doing that?
So for her to remember specific events in her life, and some of it is way back when she was what used to call fabulously gorgeous.
Mhm.
So show some of those pictures in her mom. So with her type of dementia, she remembered things back, when she was 12 or 15, and nothing recent. So, and what I've noticed in a lot of time is she can connect the dots. If she remembers something in her childhood, then there's another picture that kind of remind her of something later on. So having a background in clinical psychology really helps to kind of set that up for her. And I'm also using her as a tester to see how I incorporate that into some of the patients, some of the clients that I have that also has dementia.
What are you seeing? Because that's a topic that I'm seeing a lot of. I
Hmm.
mean, so and I, like I say, every case is different.
Hmm.
Like, you have the same mental challenges. It seems like, from my viewpoint,
Hmm.
are you seeing that with your clients and with your godmother? How are you seeing the difference in dementia? Or are you seeing a difference?
I mean, there are early stage of dementia that is, and there are later stage of dementia. So one of the things that we do over at Acti-Kare is that when a client is in that earlier stage, then we have a plan set up for them. Maybe less television, or a certain type, because television, there's a lot of stimulus that comes at you. And then you have the latter stage, which is you have combat depression. You have to combat depression. So how we balance that, there's a lot of companionship. We help the family create a proper nutrition through, how we create the meal plan, and basically, friendly observation, and also social interaction. Social interaction and exercise is so key, to how would I say, to not to shortened, somewhat, the progression of Alzheimer. It helps keep the mind sharp. And in terms of exercise, it also improves the physical and emotional health of the client that I've seen. So I mean, they're two-sided. There's, the milder, and that can progressively go into more of the full version of it.
Well, it's enlightening for this reason is I cut out TV, I cut out social, which is the phone. I cut out a lot of things.
Nice.
Well, I wanted to test because I use podcasting without commercials on YouTube and regular. And so I listen to things without the interruption. It used to bother me that all of a sudden you'd be listening to something and it would interrupt. Well, that throws my concentration off. So a friend of mine told me about ad-free YouTube. So I got it, and it does make a difference there. Now, I tell you what I wanted to go with this is I grew up dyslexic and ADD. So my academic achievement was not so stellar. I never had really, I wasn't looking forward to going to school. So anyway, which was okay because, you always gravitate to other things. So I was part of a study at Shepherd. It was an $85 million study on the left side of the brain. So I told them I'd participate, and I go down there, and it's like an hour in the MRI, 15 minutes with your eyes open. And I'm a golfer, so I was just thinking of golf things when I was in there. But anyway, here's the point, is he gives me a test, and it's cognitive. Both of them are cognitive. So he finishes about a 20-minute test or something like that. And he looks at me and he goes, "Did you know the answers to this?" I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You didn't miss a question." I said, "What?" He goes, "I've never had anybody get all of them right." Now, that's the first 100 I ever got in my life.
Nice.
I've never gotten 100. So I don't care how it was, but I was celebrating the fact that I had focus and that I really thought I improved a lot of whatever you call the cognitive part. But anyway, my point was I was listening to this this video, and they studied some nuns, and they were living sharper. They were living into their old age. And one thing that they said was they continued to learn. They continued to use the brain. It's the old use it or lose it. But
exactly.
What are you seeing with your business? How do you keep seniors learning? What's your company doing, and what's your philosophy on it?
That is, it's some of the seniors that we have. They're pretty active. So what we do at Acti-Kare is that the one that are super active, we do have programs and local programs in their community that they participate in, whether it is to go take a exercise class, chair yoga, or walking, or just having someone to just talk to, and combat the loneliness that comes with people not really, because they think, seniors, they cannot engage. But I found that the seniors are the most knowledge filled group of people that I learned a lot from. I learned a lot from every single client, but exercising, socializing, um, and also having the family, if they happen to live at home, having the family bring them in the conversation, and uh, um, going on vacation, because they do things because they reach a certain age that they don't need to go on vacation. Just kind of participate and with the family is nice, but physical and emotional health is the most the thing that I with Acti-Kare Merida that we push a lot, because we've seen the benefit of it.
Okay. What do you see? How hard is it, as a general rule, to
Mhm.
educate the kids of their parents of what they might need that they're not aware of? Are you seeing like some don't listen, or is it easy?
Yeah,
Tell our viewers a little bit about
yeah.
that.
Each family has their own dynamics. I like to say, right? So, with for example, I have this family taking care of dad. We're taking care of dad, and she runs her business at home. And one of the lovely thing about her is that she's very conscious of dad's needs. And so she selected our services. But what she didn't understand is how to address the roller coaster of dementia, Alzheimer and dementia. So we happen to have a wonderful nurse in our group that is her expertise. So we set up Zoom meetings with her, well, actually with the whole family, to understand the stage process of Alzheimer and dementia, and what are the triggers for dad. And once they start learning and understanding the disease, I call it, then they start to understand and see when the triggers are happen and how to deflect it.
Yeah.
So it has helped. And I was talking to her a couple of days ago, and she was saying how lovely it is that dad goes through the ups and down, depression and anger, and how that having that education has to kind of stabilize the situation. Mm-hmm.
Well, you mentioned triggers. I haven't heard that specific term.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe our listeners are familiar with, but if they aren't, like, I wouldn't mind educating me. So give me an example of triggers for your clients, not specifically, but just what we're talking.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, there are certain things that happened in his life, his personal, professional life, that will come up um, uh, e- every time, or when daughter has a doctor's appointment, and he'll take a look at his watch, uh, 5 or 6 times in terms of what time something else is going on. So when that happens, um, we redirect him to some activity, or so a lot of time when we know that certain things are going to happen, or she has to go out, or on a phone call, then we remove the watch. So the constant looking, it doesn't happen. And then we bring his cat that he loves. So, and then we engage him in conversation. So takes his mind out of that space. And so that's what I mean by we focus his mind elsewhere. Mhm.
Wow, that's really good. Let me see, I'm 6 months in Overture, so I'm getting a close look at a lot of things. My mom's 93, but she lives in her
Nice.
home up in Atlanta. I mean, in Richmond.
Uh-huh.
And so we have two sisters and a brother there. So they're doing the checking in on her. But I've noticed after COVID, she doesn't have her bridge, her Bonko, her lunch, all the things that she had before. And I can kind of tell there's a difference. So with your services here, which it would be ideal because I couldn't get her an overture because at 93,
Good luck.
it's not like I want to learn new things. We had to get hearing aids, and we've been working on about 2 years to get her hearing aids. And finally, my sisters had to say, if you want to communicate with your kids, you have to get them. I mean, it's a different sound and all that. So finally, this is a second attempt, maybe third, I don't know. And to go through that process, because it's hard for everybody to change, but it's harder the older you get because you get comfortable with certain things. So in my mom's case, you would come in and you would be there with her to do the basic things so the burden is not all on her to do all the activities. Okay.
And I would what we do kind of make them feel like they're part of the process. Okay. So an example would be if you were to engage us and we'll have a phone conversation on the phone so I can get some information. The next step would be a home visit, so I can get a feel for you and your space.
Okay.
And also to see, do you have grab bars in the bathroom? Where are some potential potential hazard? And if you can make some adjustments, that would be awesome. If not, then we will put that in the plan where those are some things that we need to look for, right? And if you are very mobile, then we would have a list of activities, things that you can participate in, that the caregiver itself will also take you to those activities, and they will take you to your doctor's appointment. And so once I have all of that, I have a feel for who you are and your personality and your home, then I go back to my office and look at the list of staff members that I have that would best fit you, your personality. If they're a knitter, if they're chitter chatters, and some people, they don't like chitter chatters. They just want you to come in and produce the task, and that's it. And then I one of the things that we do that is part of Georgia's rule is that we do a nurse assessment. The nurse comes and assess the medication you're taking, the kind of activities that you're doing, to get to know you at that level, so we can put a more holistic plan for the caregiver to follow. And then once we do that, you get to see the care plan. Your family is part of the process, and you sign off on it, and then we start providing you care. And care doesn't just start me sending somebody over your house. So that first day I come in, because I've already had that relationship with you. Right. I will come in and introduce you to the caregiver, and then have you also, while I'm here, start developing, a connection. And I will stay there for about a good 45 minutes, show the caregiver what needs to be done, and also leave a communication log, both for the kids and the family, if they need to leave us note, and all of that. And then I slowly drift away, and I keep in touch to make sure that the caregiver is doing what they're supposed to, and the service that you need. So we provide some value.
I love that. And I have to, I'm a journaler. I use one journal for everything. And I know I've heard like oh, if I go by myself, I don't know what the doctor recommended, what my medications are. So what do you do? You said log. So
Mhm.
how do you handle the communication from one caregiver to a doctor to back to the family? Is there something that you guys are using that's effective?
Yes, actually, I have actually one client that her daughter lives in Texas, and we are the caregiver, and I'm basically the care manager for once because the mom is blind,
Right.
so therefore when we do take her to the doctor, uh, the daughter will provide us with specific questions to ask,
Okay.
and to ask the doctor. Will document that, and will document the entire information, and then email it to her.
Okay.
So, and in that communication log that stays in the home, we'll also put all that information. So, if, for example, caregiver number one has been providing service for the last 2 months and she's ill, um, the communication log is robust enough for all the 3 months that another caregiver can step in and look at what was done. And so the client does not have to repeat, specific things that was caregiver one provided
Right.
2 or 3 months ago.
Okay. So that keeps the flow
Uh,
between all parties
yes.
available
Hmm.
through. Okay, that makes sense. So tell me, I mean, all listen. So when you're not working, what do you like to do?
Ah, I um I am a hot yoga person.
Hmm.
Hot yoga is my thing. Tennis is my thing. And coming from a techie world of creating AI, I am in the process of creating a art through AI.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I'm excited about that. So that's the creative side of me. Yeah.
That's awesome. So I know most of our viewers might know it. Tell me what hot yoga is.
Well, hot yoga is, and I do it downtown Woodstock.
Okay.
And you in a room with very high temperature,
Okay.
and doing all the asanas and going in and out of these postures. So there's a stretch in between, and hot yoga is really, really good as you're doing it to kind of relax your muscles. You sweat a lot.
Okay.
By the time you finish, you
Which is good. Which is
yes,
good. Yes.
yes. So it's very detoxifying
Okay.
process. Yes.
Okay.
So and I play tennis. So yeah.
Oh, good. You in
Mhm.
particular outer leg, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I don't think I'm that good, but I do like to think that
Get
I'm
your
good
butt.
enough to beat my brother.
Oh, good. That's good. Bragging rights are there. That's a big plus for that. That's great. Yeah, because I mean, all work and no play makes a person
Ab-
boring. Something like
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
yeah. So how did you like with Overture? How did you come to start doing business and
Ah,
doing some things with Overture? How did
good,
that?
good question. Actually, um, I it was on a Saturday. I receive a lead from one of our lead agencies, and
Okay.
I saw the information that this person was just had major surgery, and she's looking for help. And when I read it, I was just like, why? Where's the family? Where's a friend? Who? How? In major surgery? So I called her, and she picked up the phone, and I asked her, yes,
Wow.
I asked her the same question. and it broke my heart. And because that could be my mom.
Sure.
So, and I asked her what the hospital. So I went that day and had a chat with her briefly, and I kept in touch with her. And she also wanted, to have options, and she was going to do it herself in a hospital bed after major surgery. I said, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
I will do it for you. I will do it. And she paused and looked at me. She's like, wouldn't that be against, you giving away business? I said, no. What I'm doing is what someone else should be doing for you, regardless if you use my services or not. It doesn't matter. But right this moment, you do not need to do this. So I gave her, five places with price and all that and what they do and how they do it. And I told her, just hold on, don't do anything, give yourself a good week before you start calling around. And if you want me to call around, I can. I called around. I received all those prices, and I went and I gave it to her. And there was no pressure, no push. And we kept in touch, and I kept visiting her in the hospital. No business. We talk about, no, there's no talking about business. And she made the decision. So I was happy for that. And then I connect with a member of her family for them to really step up and help, because that is unacceptable.
Yeah. And that, not mentioning names or
Hmm.
anything, do you ever find that it's both parties, or like sometimes the resident might not want to burden the children, so they don't ask, and sometimes the kids don't know what's going on totally? Where
Hmm.
do you see it? Where do you see it with your
I,
experience?
yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. It's a
Okay.
little bit of both. But however, I put the burden on the family
Okay.
for something like that. I think they missed the mark,
Yeah.
because it's super critical, that I personally, my mom, had breast cancer. Um, I went to Boston. I spent 6 months to make sure that I know her doctors. I know exactly what needs to happen and all this. And when she does, when I came back to Atlanta, she goes to her appointments. I'm on the phone talking to the doctor, and we're doing FaceTime. I think as our parents age, we don't need to be, the world doesn't need to switch, but we need to be more caring, if that makes sense.
No, it
Um,
does. It does.
yeah, the we need to be a little bit more caring. We need to be on top of things, and make sure that, you know not just, financially and all of that, but we need to know the doctors. We need to know what medication they're taking, why they're taking it. We need to be, just like our parents were part of the fabric of our lives. The
Mhm.
role has switched. We need to be part of that, not intrusively, but yeah, we need to be a little bit more caring. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. No, absolutely does. And, I think for our viewers, some are listening for the first time. They're going through the first stages of how they care for their mom and dad, and
Hmm.
they don't know all the answers. And so you're answering some of the basic questions and then some of the more advanced questions, which I
Hmm.
think our viewers appreciate it, because education is so critical, and the more we educate people, the better. So I always ask this too, because we're just like, well, I don't know if I should mention her name, but so I won't. The person that recommended that you talk to us,
Uh-huh.
that was, no, I'll go ahead. Josette. Okay. Josette, she's wonderful. So anyway, she thought you were absolutely special. So she wanted to get more And I think it's sometimes we look at a brochure, we don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
We don't understand stories that are in a brochure. So our viewers have a chance to talk to you. So my question is, do you have people like yourself? They have to be like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You think our community, our senior community, especially here at Overture,
Mm-hmm.
but anywhere in general, might be a good guess so we could educate our seniors? Anybody off the top of your head?
Absolutely. I think there's quite a bit of folks out there
Okay.
that that's doing the real dirt under the fingernail work with
Okay.
the in the seniors community,
Okay.
that I've come across, and there are my heroes and sheroes. So absolutely.
Okay. So I have
Yeah.
Tresha and Sarah. They'll reach out to you. So if you wouldn't mind giving them either one, I don't know which one. Yeah, we'd love to, because we want to bring people that have the same kind of mindset that you do to
Mhm.
our community. So helping our seniors select people, because it's it's a challenging thing. All of a sudden you move in, you got 10 things that are being thrown at you.
Mhm.
You got to
Yeah.
figure all these things out, and it's a mess of choices that you have to make. And
Mhm.
I always say your quality of your decisions are your choices. So if you're making
Yes.
bad choices, your stay either at home or in a place like Overture can
Mhm.
be rough, because it's
Mhm.
not easy. So we appreciate that. Now, how can somebody get a hold of you? So,
They can call me
okay,
at 678
okay,
559 5887.
okay,
They can email me
okay,
at mcesar at acticare.com. Acti is ACTIKARE.com. Or they can visit our website, which is
awesome.
which is
Well, I tell you, just by
acticare.com.
the name
T
Acti-Kare,
care.
I mean, I love it. Whoever came up with that name, they knocked it out of the park, because we always talk. We say you got to be active and you need good care. So
Care.
I mean, somebody was thinking there. Was
Yes.
pat them on the back for that name, because that's a good one. Yeah.
Somebody definitely was thinking. But no, I do have a couple of folks in mind, and I
Awesome.
think as
Yeah.
seniors, before they get to a place like Overture, they
Yeah.
really there's some education and there's some work that needs to be done, and not get to that place and said, "Oh, if only I had planned."
Yes. Yes. Oh, if I've heard that one, if only
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
whatever, what word you in there, plan. If
Uh-huh.
that's probably ought to be a t-shirt or something,
Yes.
because
Yes.
that's the key, is if
Mhm.
only I. And
Yeah.
it's like, so many times that comes up. So thanks for bringing that up, because
Mhm.
our viewers appreciate those kind of things, whether the parents of their no, whether the kids of the parents, or the
Mhm.
parents saying, hey,
Mhm.
father, no, what do you call it? Kids? Hey,
Kids.
this is the kind of thing that you better be thinking about when
Yeah.
you're talking to me.
E-
Talk to
ex-
the caregiver.
exactly. Because I do see a difference on when parents and kids plan.
Yes,
It's a smoother transition, and they get to stay in their home.
yes,
Hmm.
yes.
Yeah.
So wise advice.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you the parting thought for our viewers.
Thank
So
you.
please give us a parting, because I know you got people to see and business to take care of. So we appreciate you taking the time to really share with our viewers a better understanding of how you add value and what you think of our community. So that's good. So
Thank
parting
you.
thought, you've got it. You
Ah,
got the platform.
parting thought
Yes.
is just have a wonderful 4th of July holiday. Thank Give thanks to our our country, our forefathers, and the folks that have put their life on the line and continue to put their life on the line for this country. So that is my parting thought. And everyone have a safe 4th of July. And yeah,
That is awesome. Boy, you knocked it out of the park.
live long and live
Yes.
long and be happy.
Thank you so much for sharing with our viewers yourself and your what you're doing in the senior community. We appreciate that very much.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate our viewers listening and tuning in with us. Thank you so much.